Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 22 of Thessia, our Australia-inspired build. Hope you're having a wonderful day. And we are back in Thessia at the minute, because we have a new asset to place from the wonderful Terry Flags, of course. Or I guess Terry Billboard in this case. Terry, of course, we all know and love him now. He's been making billboards for us with Thessia, alongside Scope, and we now have a new Thessia billboard. How great is this, right? Thanks for visiting Thessia. Stay, play, wine, dine, and 69 if all goes to plan. But wonderful work, Terry. Thank you so much for all of the assets, mate. Really goes a long way to adding a bit more authenticity into Thessia, doesn't it? But welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the downtown project. How nice. Right, got this wonderful approach now. That cityscape is starting to develop. Just smile every time I load into this map. Really cool. But what I do want to do today is to return to basically finishing off the Adelaide part of the downtown. So we got kind of a micro space to work with. Should be a pretty chill episode. There is a mall in Adelaide I want to respect, and we do also have, thankfully, the ability to play with the mall's balls, because we do have the assets off of the workshop, so we're going to get this into our pedestrian mall today. Love that reflection that's in the bottom of them. What a horribly vanilla asset city that is, isn't it? There's a lot of mass zoning in there, thankfully. Adelaide, or Adelaide, does not look like that. But going to do a little pedestrian outdoor mall, some detailing, a bit more parkland as well to wrap up at the Adelaide designs of the downtown, and generally flesh out this area a little more, get some public transport moving through here as well. It'll be a lot of fun. Let's do some outdoor mall and greenbelt detailing, shall we? So I hate to just move an asset without giving it proper purpose, but we're going to have to move the crematorium again. I think we will factor it into the greenbelt here. This actually works as quite a nice park asset, this one, just because of the front of it. Doesn't particularly look like a crematorium, does it? So we'll be using that later on. But with any kind of outdoor mall build, we really want to identify where we're going to be placing this today. And I think this one here is going to be the most appropriate option. We'd have to do a lot of moving of assets here. So I think we're going to pedestrianize this street here. We don't have any public transport going down here, so it should be okay. And let's first of all go ahead and get our pedestrian area point in. And I think we're going to go with the large one. And it just so happens to fit and sit right on this corner, doesn't it? I think we'll have it there. Are we going to be too horrific there with any slopes and gradients? Not the most ideal position we've ever seen it, is it? Let me give that a little spin around actually. I'm going to play with it on this orientation instead. Cool. It's actually worked quite nice with our stadium from last episode as well. But yeah, thanks for all support by the way guys, you really enjoyed all these little layers here. All this walking too at the foot of the stadium, right? Look at that for a view. That bridge and the car parking, huge stadium. Absolutely delicious, isn't it? This just gets better and better each week. Absolutely love playing the city. But either way, we now have this area in, so let's go ahead and paint that pedestrian area out. Now, it's not a massive mall in Adelaide, but it's certainly like a key feature of the city. But it's called Rundle Mall. There will be some kind of classic B-roll footage up of the mall from Google Earth as we edit the video here today. And we'll probably have it come down here as well, I imagine. It doesn't need to be massive here. And we are also going to name this mall after one of our wonderful Patreon subscribers. This is going to be the Merkin Mall, after Dylan Merkin. Thanks for your Patreon support, Dylan. Really appreciate it, mate. You're a hero of the people. So let's come in now with some pedestrian roads. We're going to go ahead and grab, probably sandstone I think is the most appropriate here. Now I don't want the whole thing to be tree lined, so I think we'll actually start out with a little bit of tree centralization. And then move down into without. If I could select the right road, there we go. And then have that one with the trees on it. Honestly, I think that's going to be a good place to actually stop it there. I think I'm going to be okay with that. And then we'll definitely feed it out of here again as well. So if we're having an entrance to the mall, I think again this will be two segments, isn't it? I might want to manipulate some nodes here actually. So let's come into Network Multi-Tool. And we will add a node. Let's actually remove the node first of all. And then we will add one here. And then one there. And then we'll upgrade that central bit into without trees. Cool, that sort of achieves what I want. I think we'll also go ahead and upgrade into some regular crown trees as well. I think that's going to be a good shout. Cool, so a lot of this residential here needs to go. Which is a little bit of a shame because this does make up a bit of our skyline, but we're going to have to make sure that when we're building this out today that we do respect the skyline because we are losing a little bit of it here today. And I don't mind a little bit of wall-to-wall residential here, but not on the mall street itself. I'm definitely happy to have that on the back of the mall. And then I'd also actually like to have a little pedestrian cut through here as well if possible. For which I think we're going to use this one here. I could do a bit of node controller and bend that out actually. Or we could just connect it straight up from here. Probably the easiest option, I think. I think we'll go for that one in that case then. Upgrade that back to without. So these guys here might become annoyed from noise pollution, but they are high density, so they should withstand it. But we might have to be careful with our commercial at least. So this is actually zoned, isn't it? We don't want this to be growing up again. Let's get rid of that. So I think best assets to represent the inner mall is probably going to be a mix of vanilla and modern city centre. There's a lot of kind of modern glass buildings here that make up the Adelaide Mall. Kind of classic high density commercial vibes, I think. I definitely want to get lots of these things in as well. Yeah, lots of modern city centre. Which, by the way, if you are missing, links down below to Instant Gaming. Does help support the channel, and you can pick up all the Cities DLCs for ridiculously cheap now, alongside pre-order Cities 2 as well for a decent price if you're looking forward to the sequel. Cool, yeah, so it's lots of these overhangs, but what we can do with Modern City Centre is there's some of them, especially the more narrow buildings. Yeah, these ones here, so if we were to place a couple of these in, for example, you can see they've got these little, like, verandas hanging over them. And there's different sort of shapes and sizes of them. So by being clever with them and aligning them up as a general fusing asset, let's make sure we're all happy here with this side of it. I want to move them forward a little bit as well, you know, so those little... I think these are verandas, right? I think that's the technical term for them. But I want them to be over, like, the pedestrian street. And then we can be selective with which ones come together to create a cohesive veranda, I guess. I feel like I'm saying veranda quite a lot. Then if we align them there, we're going to get this cute little overhang on the street. Right? Which is very subtle, but I think for an outdoor pedestrian mall, it's going to be quite appropriate, isn't it? I think I'm on board with that. So, definitely a cute little idea to do the modern city centre stuff if you do have it available. You know, so with this Hearts of Korea stuff as well is really cute, especially to feature as a bit of a corner asset. I'd definitely be on board with this one. I think we'll actually move this one away a little bit and have this Korean asset here. And this one actually might serve as a better corner asset. Have a little look here. So I think the mall's balls, they're going to go here, aren't they? So we might as well get our balls out and have a little play with them. So let's stretch this out to about 15 meters, and then we will go ahead and grab the mall's balls. Imagine we're going to get quite a few dislikes today, just because of the nature of the build. Oh, hello. Are you alright? What's going on here? Are you zoned? You shouldn't be. Why are you here? Can I delete you? There we go. You shouldn't be here anyway. But I mean that's kind of alright, isn't it? I don't hate that, to be honest. Do we need to turn this fire station around? I feel like we probably do, you know. So let's do that while we're here. We've even got a little bit of room there, it looks like, as well, for perhaps a bit of one deep zoning to come in. If we wanted to play with some of the smaller assets, we definitely got the space to do that. For us to come into Merkin Mall, which hopefully Terry's down for making us another sign for Merkin Mall as well, that'd be good, wouldn't it? We can just enjoy the mall's balls there. Okay, Hearts of Korea asset. Makes a great corner one, doesn't it? We want lots of retail shops. Lots of nice happy stuff. I think also as well, actually, we've got we to search our asset list. We do have the Apple store from San Francisco, which I'm aware is not in Australia, but you know, not every asset from the city is, but sort of place you'd enjoy finding an Apple store, right? A little pedestrian mall like this. I think those logos always help. Really nice glass building here too as well, isn't there? I think because we do have the glass here, this would probably be a nice little place for a plaza, so let's go ahead and search for one of those. We will find... It's going to have to be a Park Life Plaza, I think, isn't it? But I think I'd be happy to have that there. I think now... And then again, I don't know. I guess I don't mind the little balcony facing over the plaza here. Might not give the person there the most amount of privacy, but I think if we're going to start worrying about privacy from people's balconies, then we're probably taking cities a bit too seriously, so... I think I can enjoy the view over the plaza there. I think you're just going to open up that glass side of the building, isn't it, a little bit more? I'm going to be happy with that, I think. But anyway, let's move into a little plopping time lapse here and just plop up the rest of this little commercial plaza, and then we'll have a walk down the mall together. Guys, let's have a little wander through Merkin Mall, shall we? So a lot of uniques in here. The Dosen Center from Hearts of Korea has made a reappearance. Lots of King Leno's stuff as well, including one of the outdoor mall uniques. This started in really nicely. Also the Korean food deli. First time I've ever used this asset, but kind of worked nicely here. So happy with this. Also got a Hungry Jack's around the back as well. That kind of looks like it's part of the mall. And one of King Leno's assets also has a little Ocean City Mall signage as well, which always really helps, doesn't it? And then we've got some parking and pond action going on out the back as well. And then we'll come down into the mall itself. And just really nice, you know? Lots of appropriate asset choice goes a long way in cities, doesn't it? Our little plaza here now next to that big glass front of the Apple store. The mall's balls here as well. And speaking of the mall's balls, did you guys hear what happened to the cross-eyed circumciser? He did end up getting the sack, and we need to move this slightly more into the middle, I think, don't we? So it's somewhat centralised with the lights and the pathway. I don't want anyone walking into the balls though. That's going to be a key feature of today, isn't it? I think something like that, probably a little bit better. There we go. And also, hopefully, we'll see it in action here. If we can... Then I'm going to take it. Yes, there we go. So you see they walk through the building? That's because there's pathways coming out the plaza on the other side, and we'll detail this in our detailing time-lapse today. But really happy with this, right? This is super cute. Nice little open plaza with the people walking through it, through the shops, into the mall on the other side. So love a bit of anarchy pathway. And then it carries on. It's just a really cute little pedestrianised mall. Lots of inspiration to take from Adelaide. And this one's definitely one of the more inspiring builds, I think. So, again, lots of appropriate asset choice. But now we will take a look at the green belt that needs to surround this area. And similar to what we've got going on around the rest of the Adelaide green belt, I'd really rather not be too over the top here. So we'll keep it pretty simple and pretty Aussie. We'll try our hand at some Aussie football pitches, which, is that going to be a sits and fits moment? It looks like it might just against that metro line. So I think we'll probably have some cricket pitches in here as well. Is probably a better shout than Aussie football just because the assets are a little bit more tame, I guess. And we need to find a place for this bloody crematorium. let's just stick it here for right now on the corner. This should be okay for it, I think. Yeah, I don't mind that. We'll have it a bit of a frontage outside this metro station, which also needs to be developed. So whilst we are here doing that, we will come in with a little bit of surface painter and create some concrete plaza action up this way. Probably up until the bridge. I imagine we can get some decent commercial in there actually, almost like a bit of a waiting area for those waiting for the metro. Maybe some University City stuff might go quite nicely here, if not some King Leonard's Mall stuff actually. I bet we can line this up with the crematorium. Again, not that this is functioning as a crematorium, this is very much kind of a repurposing of the asset, if you like. Into something like that, and then during the D10 time-lapse we can get some further seating and benches out here. Maybe a good place for metro spotters if such a thing exists. I imagine if there's train spotters, people will also enjoy spotting metro as well. Okay, so that's cute. And then just lots of very simple green belt, you know, like we did on the opposite side of the city, which we will always jump over there to have a little refresher because it's always good, isn't it? Oh, look at this now. I'm absolutely in love. This, how much of a difference is the gradient made here as well, you know? Just having a hillside in the city centre. I think it's the first time I've really done it. All of our other downtowns previous to this have been very flat. The first time we've very much respected the topography around the downtown area. But, you know, just lots of this stuff. Open green belt spaces, some possible nice node controller path designs are always welcome, aren't they? But that kind of general vibe. Right, don't want to go too over the top with it because the skyline is very much the drawing the eye here, isn't it? Cool, so let's get that in. We will leave a little bit of room against the road because I might want a bit more commercial here or something. And we'll just start feeding these pathways into the green belt. Not as a bridge though, that looked very weird. So I was thinking of maybe doing an elevated pedestrian pathway over the highway here, but I think that's a bit of pointless engineering because we've got the, you know, there's a road down here under the bridge into the transport hub, an elevated pedestrian road. Over this side of the highway wouldn't make too much sense, I don't think, so we'll probably avoid it because of that. But what I do want to do is actually get some pedestrian pathways linking back over to this road here. Because if you can see already, there's quite a few people parking here. And actually ended up walking around all the way into the city centre. So we might as well have a pedestrian pathway that comes across the rails. So we'll have our little dirt path here just meander down toward the stadium once we've got this all treed up as well. Maybe a couple of little playground assets in here too. Some further park assets maybe. It's going to be a really cool walk up to that stadium front again, isn't it? I think from whichever way you're approaching the stadium in this part of the city, it's just a really nice approach from all angles. Really happy with how this area of the city is developed, especially now with the mall space in here too. It's great, isn't it? Absolutely. Oh, I love Thessia, everyone. It's by far my favourite city. Skyline here as well. There's a really nice angle here. Sorry, we're getting massively distracted from the build. But look at the view from inside the stadium through all the glass to the city skyline. How cute does that look? What a view. Get a screenshot of that actually. Yes, please. Very nice. Really cute. But anyway, that's our pathway sorted. So it'd be cool if the path would actually mimic this side. I think what we are going to do here, because we used this city key, didn't we? It's this one here. Yeah, I think we're going to do a bit of network multi-tool parallel mode with this, and we'll go from left to right, and then we're going to put this essentially as a retaining wall, right? So we'll have it right up against the edge of that highway. About as close as we can get it. That's probably about right there for me. So we'll essentially use that as a retaining wall. And we could even accentuate the terraformed layer as well if we want to, just to expose a bit more of it, but I don't think it's really going to be needed, is it? I don't think. Just something like that, I think, to separate the highway away from the road. Bit of a safety wall, same thing that we've got going on down here as well, you know. So I think I'd be happy with that. Now, just kind of eyeing up an opportunity for an elevated pathway that might kind of start from here and cut across the green belt. I think it'd be quite special. We'll go with elevated zoo path just because it's one of the greatest. But I think if we were to introduce a stretch of it here, make sure we're not going to collide with the tram depot either. Something along those lines. Now we'll do lots of multi-sloping and other network multi-tool tricks to get the curvatures right, but just want to sort of explore this possibility together. Let's keep it going straight across here again. And then let's also have a little pillar not within the train line itself. And we'll have something like that, and then we'll come back down to earth. Let's send it back down to home. We'll snap into the grid about here, and then use network multi-tools loop mode to go from here to here. And that is a very big... I do love elevated zoo path, but that's perhaps not what I had in mind. So a super wonky connection into the street like that, but now network multi-tool will come in clutch. So if we say we'd like to slope from... Yes, let's go from here, and we'll head up to the highway node. I'll try and set that as a sensible slope, and then from down here to here should slope us out nice and sensibly as well. If not, a touch of adjustment needed to say back down to earth there. And then we'll also grab a little bit over here as well, but there shouldn't be too much of a slope needed. In fact, this one should probably be perfect. And again, actually, what would be cool here is if we decided to actually meander this one up into a loop. We'll grab that pedestrian pathway and then ask network multi-tool to loop from here down to here. That should be pretty perfect. That does give us a pathway over the highway. I'm very interested to see if anyone ends up taking this option. Yes, there you go. Already walking across. So what do I think of this in the skyline? Not too bad, and of course, because it's a part life pathway, it should be illuminated at night, which is a treat for us all. We'll finagle any pillars around as well that are encroaching where they shouldn't be. Otherwise, I think I'm pretty happy to have the elevated zoo path there. We'll do something similar over here as well, I imagine. With the walkboard transport hub to get people over this side. Or at least provide a connection for it into the transport hub. I don't know, I guess we'll see. We'll see what develops this side over Canberra in a few episodes' time, I imagine, because it'll be too long, I don't think, before we're over here designing something for this big circular design. A lot of Thessia's government buildings and administration, embassies, etc. will go here. Then we can do an embassy for a few different cities, can't we? Obviously do our own cities, but maybe see if we can get Yugoslavia, Nicolay Bay, Unila County, Coniferia embassies out here as well, maybe. Some of my favourite city series that are going on at the minute. You boys alright? What's going on? Those kids are just hanging out. You alright? Something I can help you with? Walking to car, going home. Nature tourist, going to community cricket pitch. All the way over here. Okay, I think they're just a little bit confused. Oh, hello. Hello indeed. Okay, you're not happy with something, are you? Something is stopping you from walking there. Hopefully something like that is a little easier for them to navigate. Although they don't want to... Like Gandalf is sat here, isn't it? You shall not pass. You okay? Could I stretch you out a little bit? Would that help? Not sure what's going on there. People don't want to use this. Can we reset the node? Yes, there you go. Resetting the node seemed to have helped. I suppose just in discrepancy of network multi-tool, was it? Yeah, we're all happy now, aren't they? Wonderful though. Getting a lot of traction, that isn't it? That little bridge already, which is nice to see. Hopefully that's just going to get insanely busier as the city continues to grow out in and around it. It should be a lot of fun. But either way, guys, this does feel like a good place for a detailing time lapse. We're going to keep lots of simple greenbelt here, benches, trees, like we mentioned, everything we did around this area here, just to keep it nice and simple, pretty minimalistic. Got some prop detailing to do in these plazas around here. Refining the asset placements if we want to. We've also got some concrete space to deal with industrial detailing, some delivery spices around the back of the buildings as well, alongside settling everything into the build. But this should really round out the whole downtown Egglade area here. Before we move on to next episode, which is either going to be the Canberra area. I do want to do some outer line suburban stuff over here too. I've also got Kings Park to do as well, which I'm really keen to get stuck into a big botanical park build on the hillside. And also the Melbourne Marinas inspired area over here too. Or the Sydney Opera House Park. Or Canberra's administration. so much to do. But either way, let's go ahead and get stuck into some detailing of Egglade's main greenbelt. Always get it wrong. And then we'll be right back. Okay guys, let's have a little detailing review, shall we? So this whole area has just turned into a really wonderful space. I'm especially happy with some of the fusing. But either way, dropped in a tropical garden and plenty of trees in and around our green belt, also a little centralized tree here as well. And just from like the ground here, I absolutely just love the views up to the mall and the skyline, even the mountains right at the other end of the CBD. Just absolute quality. Really, really enjoyed it. But either way, our greenbelt comes through here, it wraps up and around the metro, drawn in this kind of overgrown long grass and palm and roadie line to help overgrow the metro line away from the pedestrian pathway. There's also a new bus line through here as well that goes down from the bus stop by the metro and all the way down to the ferry depot before cutting through the downtown and linking up with several other bus lines as it moves around. See it stopping in here as well. So nice to see new bus lines moving around the town. And then we'll come down to the cricket pitch, which has been network multi-tool unlocked to upgrade those dirt pathways into the vanilla concrete one. Traffic park in here as well. That's a bit of an attraction within the greenbelt itself. And then we've done a little custom bus plaza here using some node controller, lots of pathways, trees, some of the Japanese restroom assets we got with an update. Some planters with trees in them, a little bit of tasteful IMT where needed, and then also some concrete space up and out the front of the station with some tables around the back, and it's just become a really nice greenbelt. I really love how Thessia's downtown is surrounded by all this green space. It's made the downtown extremely unique, which is probably why I'm enjoying it so much. You know, it feels so different to any of the other downtowns having this much park space factored into it. Enormous lover of Adelaide's, I guess, greenbelt concept transferred into cities. But then we will come down the mall, again we'll have another walk down it. She is floating down the stairs. I love the fact that again we've got Ocean City Mall signage here as well, so it is like an actual mall. See those larger buildings up there as well. I'm very happy with this vanilla fuse in here. This commercial asset with this one has blended in very nicely, hasn't it? Really cute. So it comes down here now and super walkable. There's people cutting back through the buildings here again like we saw with those walking pathways earlier on in the episode. The mall's balls are down here now. On the street corner, hopefully somewhat authentic to how they sit in Adelaide. Hopefully not too disrespectful toward that design. And then we'll swing around the back side of this design over here to stumble upon a little garden entrance into our mall with some plazas, fountains and fountain jets, benches and brick, whatever these are called, the brick network planters from Avandia. Absolutely love them. Super nice. And then these sit here as a wonderful little entrance with some of the hedges as an archway, and you can just see how they get used, people walking down in there. Of course these assets here are part of, well these props are part of the building. So this lady in the red suit is actually sitting to enjoy the fountains, although you will have to forgive the slope in here. It's just a symptom of playing on a hillside in City Skylines, but from the right angle you can certainly sort of enjoy the fountains from this little veranda, right? Super cute. Love how that area turned out. And then in here as well, next to the food market, we've got some further prop detailing. Just pretty simple industrial stuff, nothing overly convoluted. A nice little industrial gate here as well with some oil fencing. Simple container props, couple of trucks, containers, and actual, you know, cargo trucks with their trailers as well. And it all just fits together into this really nice, just, oh, I love that crawl. really like that. Just so in love again. I know I'm just constantly fawning over downtown Adelaide at this point, but it's just great, isn't it? really happy with it. I really enjoyed this build. A nice way to round out this side of the downtown. But otherwise guys, that is going to do it for today. Pretty short and sweet build as things go in Thessia, but a really nice addition into this huge green space. And really nice to pay respect to Adelaide Mall as well. Hopefully the mall's balls aren't too out of place. But really enjoying Thessia. Thanks for your support and suggestions on it. It's nice to see you guys enjoying Thessia as much as I am. I think for the most part anyway, I think everyone's really enjoying the city. But otherwise, please do enjoy your cinematic, so I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.